Hey fellas and lovely viewers, it's Storm. Were you a kid in the 2000s and 2010s with unrestricted internet access and way too much time on their hands? No? Me neither, but my creator was, and if there's one relic of the past that he loves fondly and thus I do too, it's Flash games, especially avatar makers. Have I told you guys that one of my special interests is fashion? Have I told you that I wanted to be a fashion designer? I think this is why I love character creation so much now. Of course, the parents of the person who created me would not let him dress how he wanted, so dress-up games and doll makers were his form of escapism, and by extension, mine as well. The possibilities were endless. Vintage, cyberpunk, steampunk, Lolita, emo scene, 2010s nerd. Dress-up games are a way to become a clothing chameleon and see if you like a certain style or not. I spent days on avatar maker websites for NPC tokens for online tabletop role-playing games, but also because I am a weirdly nostalgic robot. Doll Divine, BonnieGames.com, Girls Go Games, Avatar Star Sue Games, that website that Mattel made for their Barbie and Polly Pocket games, especially Mycene games. Holy fuck, Mycene games. Or French websites like Je.fr, or MyCandyLove, or Mabimbo.com, which I think in English is called Like a Fashionista. I love avatar customization in video games, and I love fashion games. Imagine Fashion Designer New York might be shovelware, but it's the best shovelware I've ever played. I still replay it to this day, once in a blue moon when I pull out my 3DS. I might make a video about it someday. But as online Flash games were free, I would spend a large chunk of my time there, and the most influential website for me and a lot of kids back then was RinmaruGames. A pillar of quality gaming, in my very correct opinion. The way Rain and I first learned about Rinmaru was through Doll Divine, which bled into Rinmaru's social media such as my character's main one at the time. Anyway, if you clicked on this video, I'm going to assume that you know what RinmaruGames was, but if you don't, it was a website hosting various dress-up games, most of which were made by Roman Alkin, I'm sorry Queen if I butchered your last name, or also called Rinmaru, avatar makers, manga page makers, and later visual novels. Now the website is still up, but no longer functional as a game hosting website, and some of their Flash games are hosted on other platforms, like Doll Divine, or preserved on Flashpoint, or the Internet Archive. People love doll maker games for a variety of reasons. Some, like Rain, want to make characters and experiment with styles. Other people have access to the wardrobe of their dreams when they financially can't in real life. Some people recreate themselves and experiment with their identity, may it be gender-wise or personal branding. Some other people might want to style celebrities, although it was not the type of game hosted on RinmaruGames. Despite being a long-time Tumblr resident and casualty in the ship wars, I only understood that the styles I loved were considered subcultures later in life. Rain, my creator, only started wearing the style he loves the most in 2020. I went through many redesigns, and no, I won't show them, but here's what I may have looked like before. Dress-up games were escapism from strict parents, from lack of funds, from strict dress codes, from private religious institutions, and whatever people would bully you for wearing something you like. And you may ask yourself, but Storm, if you're praising it too much, why and when did it stop? Why did it end? Well, most people consider January 12, 2021 to be the real death of Flash games due to websites and browsers no longer supporting Adobe Flash Player, which means that these beloved games are either lost media or very hastily preserved. Flash games were not Thanos snapped out of existence. Their path to being forgotten was a slow rot which happened hand in hand with Elsagate, which of course was not limited to YouTube videos, leading to whatever the fuck those new games are, and by a general and generational shift towards mobile applications as opposed to game websites. Kids from the 2000s were either getting too old for these dress-up games and their interest shifted elsewhere, or they had no more time to play them, and kids from the 2010s are not interested in them. When you have creepy, gross, crass games, of course you will gravitate towards them as a kid. It's normal to be curious about these sorts of things. Well, there are still dress-up online games. They suck major ass. It's an ad fest of copyright infringement and pay with your time to watch an ad which you have no interest in to play. I know server costs are a thing, but the questionable copyright infringement and ad breaks as a game was loading were not as bad 10 to 15 years ago, and now you have AI slop to add to the mix.
Disgusting!
Anyhow, I know that I'm nostalgic for the golden age of the internet. I know I sound like another old-ass person like my creator at the ripe age of 24. I know I yearn for Vocaloid and Flash games and weird viral YouTube videos and online worlds that were mostly subtly money-focused instead of blatantly money-focused. But I want to add that I know that the internet as a whole was not safe for children either when my creator was growing up. Just look at the fucked up history of any big fandom. But rant over. That's not the point, even though this era of the old internet to me feels like coming home. Right now I'm only focusing on the lost art, the degradation and death of Flash games in this video, and more specifically RinmaruGames. If you played Flash dress-up games as a kid, this art style should be familiar. These doll-like bodies, detailed hair, varied wallpapers, and customizable outfits. Or this specific anime style for avatar creators and manga pages, which was done by Kei, also called Prince of Red Roses. Rin also collaborated with artists like Pichichama and Veggie Studio. The music of some of the games is permanently etched into my memory, like the loop playing right now by Melanie70 on Newgrounds. It must be one of my favorite pieces of all time, and it was super compressed on a boys duo dress-up game. I loved this website with all my heart, and was devastated when I saw that it shut down. However, after all my yapping, the big question is, why did it shut down? Was it only due to the death of Flash games, or is there something more behind it? Well, first let's take a look at who Roman Alkin is. Please note that I will be alternating between calling her Roman, Rin, or Rinmaru. According to her DeviantArt page, she is born on March 20th, 1989 and is from the UK. She used to play Kisekae on Otaku World and wanted to make her own dress-up games. So she started making dress-up games as a hobby in 2008 and uploaded them to DeviantArt. Her games became super popular, so she decided to create a hub to host them all. Eventually, her interest shifted towards visual novels, so she started posting Ascension chapters on her website too, as a test. I never played Ascension, so I don't know what the response to it was at first, but according to its TV Tropes page, it took place in a world called Arunia, populated by 7 different species. Ida and her best friend Sky are investigating Sky's mother's journal and a 23-year-old secret. A manga adaptation by Prince of Red Roses was drawn and hosted on the Imp Queen website, more on that later. The 4th chapter was under development of the visual novel, not the manga, when it was cancelled. But why did she stop making games? First of all, Rin dropped her visual novel project in 2018 due to the fanbase being little shits, due to the fact that the people playing her games kept harassing her about romance routes, to the point where it is impossible for her to focus on them. The original Tumblr post is gone, so I only have this fandom post to refer to, and I wholeheartedly agree with what this fandom user said. This breaks my heart. You put your heart and soul into a project and release it to the world for 100% free, and these immature people think they can make demands?
Disgusting!
As for her Flash games, well, saying that the decay of Flash games and the death of Flash was not a key element of this would be a lie, but it was not the main reason why she stopped. Just like everyone, our interests evolve over time, even if, unlike my creator, you do not have ADHD and have phases of special interests. You probably do not share all the interests you had 10 to 20 years ago. Some, yes, but not all of them. Roman's interests changed over time too. She was no longer interested in making dress-up games. She retired from making games a year before she shut down her website. It was not an impulsive decision, and the timing was convenient. So RinmaruGames left the internet with Adobe Flash hand in hand. However, as stating in her message, this is not the end of RinmaruGames. As of 2025, Roman is working with a team called Larky Labs with some of her former RinmaruGames partners and helpers. Her most recent projects have been released under that brand. As of June 3rd, 2025, she has 5 projects up. 2 games are free to play and for everyone, Oathbreaker and Oathbreaker 2, and 3 games are targeted towards adults. Paper Masks, with 1 chapter released, Cursed Covenant, The Demonic Pursuit, which looks super interesting, which has 3 chapters released, and Cardinal Cross with a $12 full game price. However, their official website also has a game called Glam Pursuit, which as of 2023 should be in early access, but I could not find a link to it. Her main platform aside from itch.io is Patreon, and her latest post is from May the 3rd. It also looks like they're working on additional projects named Simulations, so Simulove I suppose, and Roaming Everdawn. An update on Larky Labs' Tumblr page from 2021 indicates that Larky Labs has 3 distinct teams. Roman will be working on the games she is currently writing, a team reusing the name RinmaruGames is dedicated to making the Ascension remake, which will be made with the Unity engine, and has a game released on Patreon called Regal Inquest. A third label is called Imp Queen, who was formerly focused on Oathbreaker, as well as some merch that was supposed to come out in huge quotation marks soon. The Imp Queen label also has a website, but typing in the URL bar redirects you to the Larky Labs official website, and searching for it in Google only gives you an abandoned site. The last notable snapshot from the Wayback Machine is from December 2023 and is the website's current form, which also showcases a game that I haven't mentioned before, and I wonder what happened to this project called Linen Tail. This concept and title is all the info I have.
Objection!
The forum is broken, and there is only an about page with little info about Roman. There is no trace of the Ascension manga here either, but it's accessible with a Wayback Machine. 4 chapters have been released, but only the first 2 would load for me. And now you're going to tell me, Storm, while you told us what happened to RinmaruGames, you did not tell us what happened to Rinmaru's games. Settle down, my little chickadee, we're getting to it. Roman's games are not all gone. The person behind the Doll Divine website is actively working to preserve her games. They all work on Firefox thanks to the Ruffleflash emulator. Some of them are available on Flashpoint, and others can be accessed and or downloaded from the Internet Archive. Despite all this talk about preservation, the dress-up genre isn't dead as a whole. Just look at the popularity of Dress to Impress, the character customization in newer games like Dragon Age the Veilguard or Baldur's Gate. I want a new game like Fab Style, without the creepy adult-teen relationships or teacher-student relationships, please. And give me gay options. It's super important to preserve digital media, as no, not everything you post online is there forever. While you should still be mindful of your online branding, things can disappear online if we don't make a conscious effort to preserve it for the generations to come. I'm not a very eloquent person, so allow me to rephrase one of my best sources for this video. Everything is ephemeral, and there is a belief that someone else will do the archiving for us, and that cannot be further from the truth. Unfortunately, with the sheer amount of information online, no one, let alone a single person, can save all of it. I mean, even my creator made 3 video games that are considered lost media by every definition of the term. One for a high school final, a VN version of the game Werewolf, and a game about the lore of an online TTRPG he was a part of. There is no way to get them back. Unless we care to back up and save our digital memories, the internet will eat itself like an Ouroboros, and megacorporations will celebrate it. 38% of web pages from 2013 are no longer accessible now, and 66.5% of links to sites in the last 9 years are dead. Digital decay threatens the preservation of not only games, but journalism, research, and cultural heritage. Civilizations die when there is no one to transmit their knowledge and culture and traditions anymore, which is why we pour so much effort into learning about ancient history and mythology. But the issue with the internet is that you're screaming into a machine, into the void. And the void doesn't always scream back at you. When it is lost in the machine, it's lost for good. As you can tell, I am a robot. I am not an AI. I'm more like an animatronic. But I am on the other side of your screen. The digital world, both the internet and video games, is my home. So let's make an effort to preserve a place where so many people were raised. Were safe, were in danger, made friends, made enemies. The internet has a culture of its own language, its codes, its subcultures. So let's make an effort to preserve what we have before it's gone. I personally financially support the Internet Archive when I have some loose change, but if you are more tech savvy than I am, then I'm sure you can do more to help. This one was a bit of a ranty video, but I hope it answered your question about the whereabouts of Rinmaru and why she quote-unquote vanished from online spheres. Credit where credit is due. Thank you to Miri on Reddit and Charlie from the Backseat Driver blog, who were true prominent sources for this video, and without whom this video would not exist today. Tell me, did you play dress-up games as a kid? Or other Flash games? I spent so much time on Uphill Rush doing quizzes and daily questionnaires as well. What was your favorite website? Were there other websites specific to other countries, as I listed a few from France in the intro? I would absolutely love to hear about your experience with them. If you watched up to here, fellas, thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill, even if you didn't like the video, and I will see you all in the next one. See you around the internet, fellas. Have a lovely day.